Sometimes evil does not come with horns or red eyes. Sometimes evil is quiet. It hides behind beauty, smiles through kindness, and whispers softly while you sit, relaxed and unguarded. This is the story of a woman named Sharon and the story of a salon that once ruled the city of Abuja. Sharon was a woman in her early 40s, tall, elegant, and graceful, with a calm voice that made everyone feel at ease. She had never married. No one really knew why. Some said she was too focused on her career. Others said she was unlucky in love. But whatever the reason, she never seemed lonely. She lived a quiet but fulfilled life, and though she had no biological child, she had adopted a young boy whom she loved deeply. He was about 9 years old, shy, polite, and always smiling when his mother picked him from school. In her son's laughter, Sharon found a kind of peace she never found anywhere else. But beyond her home, Sharon was a star, a woman of class, power, and influence. She owned one of the biggest salons in Abuja. It wasn't just a salon, it was a palace of beauty, a place where comfort met luxury and luxury met mystery. The salon stood tall in the heart of Woo's too, with glass walls that sparkled under the sunlight. Inside, everything glowed, from the marble floors to the golden frame mirrors that hung on every wall. Soft music filled the air. Lavender and rose fragrances drifted through the room. Every customer was treated like royalty. She had a large team of stylists, skilled girls who could turn even the plainest woman into something divine. Sharon herself was the magic behind it all. She was good. No, she was exceptional. Hair, makeup, pedicure, manicure, lashes, spa, you name it, she was the best at it. Her salon became the beauty center for the rich and powerful. Wives of senators, business magnates, CEOs, socialites all came to her. She had a lounge for regular customers, another for VIPs, and one more, a hidden private lounge for her very special clients. That private section was heaven itself. There were gold plated mirrors on every wall. Each customer who entered was served chilled champagne. There were snacks, massages, and soft chairs that embraced you like clouds. It was a place so beautiful you'd forget about the world outside. But beauty sometimes hides shadows. In Sharon's private lounge, the mirrors weren't ordinary. They were large, shiny, flawless, and yet they held something deeper. Each mirror had a strange energy. When women looked into them, they saw beauty, but something unseen was looking back at them. And each time they looked, something invisible was planted inside them, something that followed them home. It started slowly. First came the dreams, disturbing but unclear. Then came the tiredness, a fatigue that no sleep could cure. Then the craving, the deep, burning need to return to the salon. For the rich women of Abuja, Sharon became an addiction. They couldn't stay away. If they weren't there for hair, they came for nails. If not for nails, then for massages. If not for massages, then for lashes. Day after day, week after week, they returned. When asked why, they'd say, I just need to feel good again. I think I'll go to Sharon's salon. They didn't know that what they called feeling good was something else. They didn't know that something had already begun feeding on their peace. Social media made things worse, or perhaps better for Sharon. When Sharon was at her peak, the internet couldn't stop talking about her. Every customer tagged their page. They flaunted their looks, showing off their hair, their nails, their glowing skin. Hashtags filled every caption. Hashtag Sharon Salon. Hashtag Abuja Luxury Hair. Hashtag VVIP Beauty. Each post attracted more people. Her salon became a sensation. It wasn't just a place, it was a movement. And Sharon? She was the woman behind it all, calm, graceful, untouchable. Then came Amara, a young woman who had just relocated to Abuja with her husband. She was new, elegant, and had that quiet confidence that came from wisdom and faith. One afternoon, a friend told her, "You just moved to Abuja and you haven't been to Sharon's salon? No, you must go. That place is heaven on earth. They treat you like royalty." Amara smiled. She wasn't one to chase luxury, but curiosity and a little persuasion made her go. When she arrived, the place was everything people said and more. Soft music, perfume in the air, girls in neat uniforms greeting her politely. They led her to the VIP lounge saying, "Madam, your husband is an important man. You can't sit with regular clients. You deserve our special section." At first, Amara refused. She said, "No, this place is fine." But they insisted, and she eventually agreed. Inside the private room, everything glittered, and then she saw them, the mirrors, beautiful mirrors on every wall. As Sharon began to style her hair, Amara felt something strange. The air around her grew heavy. The music sounded distant, and for a moment she thought she saw shadows move inside the mirrors. She blinked, and everything looked normal again. She laughed nervously and said nothing. That night, Amara dreamed. She saw herself sitting under a giant air dryer, and it was pulling air out of her chest, slowly, painfully, like something invisible was stealing her breath. She woke up gasping, her body drenched in sweat. But the strangest thing happened. The next morning, she found herself missing the salon. She couldn't explain why. She just wanted to go back, and she did. Amara started visiting this salon often. Every week, there was a new reason. "My hair feels dull," she'd say. "My skin is dry," she'd whisper. She was always tired, always drained, and yet, every time she left Sharon's salon, she felt light, only for a few hours. Then the heaviness returned. One evening, as she checked her bank statement, she froze. Almost every few days, there was a debit alert. Salon, salon, salon. She didn't even remember spending that much. That's when it clicked. Something wasn't right. She remembered the mirrors, the shadows, the heavy air, and the strange dreams. She decided to stop going, but the night she made that decision, she had the worst dream of all. A shadow stood by her bed. It whispered her name, and in its reflection, faintly, she saw Sharon's face smiling back. Days later, disaster struck. Sharon's salon went up in flames. A fire that started without warning, spreading faster than anyone could understand. The mirrors cracked and shattered in the heat. The smoke filled the streets. By the time the firefighters arrived, nothing was left but ash and the faint scent of lavender. And then the city started to talk. Women began posting online. They shared their strange dreams, their constant fatigue, their unexplained longing to return to the salon. Some said they saw figures in the mirrors. Some said they heard whispers. Social media exploded. Videos, testimonies, screenshots, hashtags. Bashako Salon of Lost Air wa the evil salon of Kwasin Abuja mystery. Everywhere you turned, someone was talking about Sharon's salon. And then, just like that, Sharon disappeared. Her shop closed. Her phones were switched off. Her house was empty. Her son was left in the care of a relative, and no one ever saw her again. Weeks passed, months, and the fear slowly turned into silence. But no one ever forgot. Because evil, they realized, doesn't always roar. It doesn't always come from witches or shrines. Sometimes evil sits quietly in a place that looks perfect, smells perfect, feels perfect. Sometimes evil hides behind beauty, behind mirrors, behind luxury, and sometimes it hides behind a woman's gentle smile. So if you ever find yourself in a salon and you look into a mirror that gleams a little too bright, if you feel the air around you grow heavier, if you see your reflection blink when you didn't, walk away. Because not every reflection is harmless, and not every beauty is pure.